We wait for the green light
Exactly.
before I start using my voice and all that kind of good
Yeah,
voicey
all
stuff.
that beautiful stuff that you're about to do right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right
Right,
now.
right now.
Right
Do it.
now. Right now, mate.
Oh, we're live, mate. We're live, mate.
Are we now? Are we? Hello and welcome to That Beautiful Life podcast. This is episode 226, if I'm correct. Is it 226, Raj?
Yep.
226 of That Beautiful Life podcast. My name is Khalid Campbell, talking to you all the way in the beautiful region, Reading, United Kingdom. Talking to the beautiful Roger Bergstrom, all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. Raj, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's good. It's, we're getting to that soon. The short answer is yes. Yeah. And you, my friend?
I'm good.
Yeah,
It's been a tumultuous sort of week, per se.
Oh, it has. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the worst week. It's not the best week. It's sort of been, like, I'll be honest, I've been a bit stressed. I have had a bit, and the weirdest thing is, I think the thing that tells me that I've been stressed is the fact that I've started finding I have a lot of gray hairs.
Oh, look at that. Welcome to the club. Well, soon we can have the same look then, maybe. It's going to be a bit better for the light and the overall effect in the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm saying probably highly possible, because like on this side of my head, there's like right in this area here, this general area, there are two long strands of gray hair that I found just yesterday. And I was like, bloody hell, I'm going gray.
That's how it starts. But it's more like it could be a slow process for you. As I said before, I got like gray hairs quite early, and I think that has to do with, if I look into my relatives, especially on my dad's side, that was something that started pretty early for most of them, I would say.
Right.
I have one cousin that actually got, like, as I am now, like 50 plus and everything. He had his like gray hairs all over his hair, obviously, like when he was 30.
Yeah.
So, it's very different. So, I mean, because you see those small, like, traces of gray doesn't mean you will have all gray like in 6 months from now. It could actually be in 15 or 20 years or more, or slowly. I don't know. Do you know how it is if you look back, if you think about maybe your dad and if he has a brother or, stuff like that, uncle,
my dad hasn't had gray hair for a long time though.
Yeah.
Like, I think my dad, he went a pretty long time before he started getting gray hairs. Even like losing his hair took a while. Like but I think the whole thing with baldness though, I think that's on your mother's side, isn't it? I think that that usually, from what I understand with biology, I think baldness originates from your mother's father. So if you do go bald,
that's interesting. I have no idea about these things, but it could be so. I've never heard that, actually.
I heard that. So I think it originates from your mother's father's side. It's from what I remember with regards to that. But yeah, I have I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when it comes to these sort of things. I've just sort of like, I know my hair is I've got a lot of hair in my head. I don't know my mother's dad. I've never met the guy. I don't even know what he looks like. Never saw a picture of him. He passed away before I was born, as far as I'm aware. And my mom never had any pictures of him around or anything. So I don't even know what my granddad on my mom's side looks like. But yeah, all I know is my dad, he had a full set of hair for most of his life. He had a full beard, well shaped and everything, mustache, like perfect beard, like really, really perfect. You know those guys who have like the perfect connection there, and it comes down, and it looks sharp all the time. That's what my dad's beard always used to look like.
Cool.
And again, full head of hair. He didn't used to his hair wasn't as high as mine. He used to keep it short. But he didn't have any bald head until much older, and then even then, like I think the last time I saw him, he didn't even have that many grays.
Right.
So, for me to start getting gray hair now it's like a bloody hell. Like I've got gray streaks coming, like little bits here, and I've never had grays. And I think I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he was just saying, he's like, I think it's stress, bro. It was like, I know.
Well, it could be partly related, but I don't. Yeah, as I said, I don't know so much about these things. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, as said, if I look again to how my father was quite early, or when he got older, apparently, And also, I mentioned a cousin of mine who got it like early gray hairs. Then I'm not surprised that I also got it pretty early. It started, So, but for me, I've never really thought so much about it. It's been like, okay, I've started to get gray hairs. Okay. And then, it's never been. I mean, I have, I shouldn't say like with a friend. I know a guy or two, if you put it like that have definitely been shying away from that. You can see that they're, how do you say, they're in like fixing the hair, like it's not their natural color, if we put it like that. And yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's fine if they want to, but for me, it's I don't think about that. It's it's a part of, at least for me, a part of aging. And of course, if it's really hard for you, and maybe you feel better if you do like try to keep your hair color, like even though you have gray hairs, then sure, go ahead. I mean, I don't mind. It's good, We've talked about these things before when it comes to how you look, what you use or do not use, or if you change something, or women that are doing this or that with whatever. It's like, I mean, if you feel good about it, well, go ahead, do it. It's up to you. It's up to you.
I think for me, like, I'm not afraid of aging. I can't say that I am afraid of aging. I do think though that I would prefer not to be not to speed up the process.
No. We don't need to do that. Yeah.
I think that much is because I think if it is a sign of stress for me, I think it's a, like, stress doesn't just come with my hair going silver. That's not really the worst thing that could come from it. The worst thing is other things, that could be related to other stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm concerned, but you know what, you at the same time, I just kind of have to live with it. So
yeah, it is what it is. But I think you're onto something though when we talk about, if we mention stress.
Yeah.
I mean, I had I've talked about that also when I got ill, when I worked too much, and I was a parent with two very, like young kids, and everything like that adds up, especially when you are in the mid of your career and everything. Like when I was around my 30s, if you will. And that, stress for sure. I mean, stress is most of the time not a good thing, especially if it goes on for a long time, right? So I could imagine that it can also, maybe have something to do with aging to a certain extent. If, like for example, gray hairs are a sign of aging, and I guess it is to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So sure, it could be. I mean, let's. I mean, in your case. Because usually I guess it wouldn't be like, oh, you were stressed yesterday, so today we see the gray hairs. It's probably like, well, it's been a few years now. You have a family. You also had this work that put a lot of like, stress and emotions, and also how we are as persons. If we have like what I call a floating intellect, which I feel that to a certain extent I have, and I think you have as well, when you process quite some very often. Both like day-to-day things, or bigger picture things when it comes to maybe things that are happening in your country or in the world, but also your creativity, because creativity can also be very it's a great thing, but it can also it takes some energy, and it can kind of burn you out as well.
It could be a bit of a double-edged sword.
I would say so. I think I can say that by my own experience. So since I did get burned out in the beginning of 2000, so
likewise.
So yeah, so I think those signs are of course more. And now we're getting into something that is related to other like health problems and such. So I guess gray hairs might be on the lighter side of things in a way. But maybe it can be like a signal, maybe, I don't know. But again, we are getting older also. I mean, me, definitely. I've reached a certain age now. And of course, you too. I mean, we're not like, it was a long time since we talked about being 27, if we put it like that, or 21 and a half,
That's the thing. I think, I think that's it. I think we just kind of have to, we accept it. but at the same time, yeah, it is what it
True.
is.
You know what? I'm yeah. You have you. I'm jumping a bit here, but or between topics almost. But
Mhm,
we're going to talk a bit more about the week.
mhm.
But I was just thinking, have you watched any more when it comes to the boys?
No, that's the thing.
No,
So
no.
so
That's fine because
mhm.
it's actually without spoiling when we talk about gray hairs, there's something I wanted to just check with you, but then I'm backing off because it's kind of related to that, so I'm backing off. We can
we'll
take that later down the line when you have been able to watch a bit, because I know right now, since Alex is not home either, and I mean, you can't sit and watch like the boys if Ty is close to you. That's not maybe
to
not
be
a good
frank,
idea.
I could watch the boys if I wanted to. I think like so Ty being home a lot has meant that because I haven't been in work, I have had a bit more free time to do stuff like watching telly and playing
Yeah,
video games and all that kind of stuff. So watching the boys is not impossible. It's just you know, sometimes like to watch certain things or to play certain things, you need to be in that headspace, and I just
true.
have not been in the headspace for that. Like,
No.
you know, the boys comes up and I'm just like, eh. You know, I just haven't
Yeah.
been in the headspace for it. So the stuff I have been watching is more lighthearted stuff, you know, a little bit easier to watch,
Yeah.
not you know, a bit more humor, a little less you know, difficult or troubling content, you know, because I mean the boys
Yeah.
stuff is it's fun, but at the same time it's also very
Yeah.
um
It's quite
dark.
heavy in
Yeah.
its character, you know. It's
Hmm.
like a lot of it's a lot of yeah, it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of
I think
like
it's dark
violence.
humor.
It's yeah, it's dark humor.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it that way, but I totally understand what you mean,
Yeah.
because when we're getting onto what we have been watching and everything, I definitely can sync with your like thoughts, or what
Hmm.
you're saying here, because sometimes even though, yeah, sometimes you might pick the wrong movie or series for
Hmm.
that particular moment where you are at when it comes to your emotions or well-being, for that
Hmm.
sake. uh I think this time around I got it right for me when I was watching what I was watching, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But with that said, sometimes I feel after like a day or two, maybe I should have watched that movie at another point, and I would have
Hmm.
another time, and I would most likely have enjoyed it a bit more, you
Hmm.
know. That's
Yeah,
saying, I
definitely.
mean, you know.
That's that is the thing. So yeah, I've just sort of put it on hold. I put it on hold. We'll get
Yeah,
to that in due time.
yeah.
But yeah, generally, I think for the week, I think just to get on topic, I think for the week it's just been, I guess, you know, I haven't really been doing much, and I think that has had me a little bit stressed.
Yeah.
I say a little bit stressed. I've probably been proper stressed, but you know, at the end of it all, like, you know, there's nothing really bad that happened this week and nothing
No.
really good that happened this week. It's just been a week. I think the most significant thing I can say that happened this week is my sister traveling, you know. So
Oh, okay.
she's on vacation. She's going to Trinidad.
Ah, all right.
She's in the warmth.
Ah,
She's already left. So she's there I guess enjoying her vacation. For
good for her.
me,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, that's it. That's mainly been a bit of it. I think we're just sort of like counting down the days until Alex returns, and
Yeah.
I think generally speaking, it's just nothing really that I can think of that has been significant in like change or anything compared to like
No.
last week, in a sense of like, oh, this is magnificent, you should this is super cool or whatever have you. None of that really. So yeah, mostly I've been spending the week gaming and watching telly, so I'm gonna have stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Well, that's something at least. But at the same time, when you say, or you said something like, I haven't been doing much, or anything, at the same time, we shouldn't forget that when you're a parent and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
alone,
Hmm.
like at home with your kids and everything, there's always something to do, more or less at least. There are moments, of
Yes.
course, when you, as you said, you can relax a bit and whatever, watch a movie or series or play a video game. But at, at- Yeah, at the same time, there are things that has to be taken care of. Oh, I think I need to go and do some shopping. Yeah, because we don't have this or that.
That's actually today.
Wait,
After the
I have to
podcast, I
make
gotta
dinner.
go.
Yeah, whatever.
After podcast, I have to go to the shops. I have to get some other porridge, so I need to go get
Yeah,
porridge.
look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no oatmeal.
Yes.
So, but generally, yeah, just I think if I want to just add something in there, that's I guess maybe just to have something to put in that space, I guess, is that I had the weirdest thing. So I was at Thai school because of the fact that he needs to get picked up like an hour, 2 hours to the day every day. So I just wait in the school until it's time for him to leave, and then I just take him home. And I'm in the school. And I'm sleeping on myself because I'm absolutely knackered, and I don't want to be in a school in the middle of the, like in the night. I'm up in the night because I know I don't have work in the morning, so I'm up in the night. And I'm just sort of like sleeping on my hand like this in the school. I'm just like, oh yeah. And then out of nowhere, I could feel someone just touch me. So I like instinctively like wake up. I'm like, what the hell? There's a kid. Yeah. This kid just ran up to me and just hugged me, and I was just like,
oh, okay.
Like, who are you, kid? It's the weirdest thing. So I just sort of like gently sort of like pushed the kid off, and then the teacher sort of like took the kid. But weird, man. Absolute weird.
Yeah. Do you have any idea like what triggered that or who the kid is? So.
I don't know the kid. That's the thing. Kids are weird, bro. I think English kids are weird. I don't know. Like when I was growing up, my parents taught me stranger danger. I never ran up to anybody that I didn't know and hugged them. Like that was just
same.
Especially a strange man. Like like that was just something you just didn't do. But kids here, man, they're weird, bro. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is. Kids here are weird, and I don't think parents teach their kids about like safety or like like just to be mindful of stuff, like
yes I know what you mean.
I don't think that kids are very wary here. I think they're just sort of like, well, then the way I'd put it is like loosey goosey,
Okay.
Like if there were a lot of really bad people around like here, I think kids get stolen twice a week and once and 4 times on a Sunday, like
right.
Like you just don't run up to people, because even like the weirdest thing, even like Ty does it. Even though I'll tell him like don't be too overly friendly with strangers, stranger danger. Yeah. But for him, he'll see someone and he'll be like, oh, this is my daddy, and he'll start introducing me by full name and telling people all sorts of full details about me. He is this years old. He does this. Blah blah blah. I'm like, mate, what are you doing? You trying to out me out? And it's probably no, this is not Ty's fault, but I'm going to pretend that it is his. But someone actually opened up a bank account in Alex's name, like a scam account. So fraud, full on fraud. The bank card came to the house, everything. I collected the documents. I was like, oh, new bank card. Why did she get a new bank card? But I was just like, maybe she did something and I didn't know about it. She didn't mention it to me. But eventually when I spoke to her about it, she was like, yeah, that wasn't me. I already contacted the bank. That's fraud. Yeah. Send me pictures of everything so I could send it to the police. I was like, cool, no problem. Weird, bro. Weird. Who's out there doing these things?
Yes. So yes, there's a lot of those kind of things that is going on out there. I had a similar thing with that was with my credit card quite a few years ago now, but like phishing, that kind of shit. So yeah, be careful. But as you said, it's kind of interesting what you're describing, though. In a way, it's kind of, how should we put it? It's kind of cute, or it's very like, kids, they believe everyone is like very nice and good and whatnot, and that's charming. It's kind of a beautiful thing in a perfect world. But unfortunately, that's not really the case in real life. So yeah, I would say be a bit careful. We have been talking with our sons also when they were younger. I don't think they ever. It's also their mentality. I can't really recall that they were that outspoken as you're describing how Ty is or how he's approaching adults. They never really done that by default, so to say. So it hasn't really been a thing, but Because I remember when they were, you've been here, I pointed out
Yeah.
the school, it's very close to here, which was very practical when they went
Yeah.
like the first 6 years. They just, took their backpack and walked all the way over there. But there was, situations maybe 2-3 times out, like spread out through the years when there was like a weirdo or two, driving around the school with a van,
Why do
checking
they
out the
always have
kids.
vans? Why do weirdos always have, why? Why
I
don't
don't
they
know.
have
Easier to pull in a kid or two. I don't know. Just
like,
open the side door and look at this lollipop. It can be yours. And then I don't know. It sounds horrible, but
they've ruined vans for
I
for regular people.
was out. One point I remember I had been on a tour or something. And usually after that, since you might have been working like 7 days in a row or maybe over the weekend, whatever. And since we were our own, so to say, we could say, okay, we're going to be, have our weekend Wednesday, Thursday, to compensate, right? So I was able to take a walk in the neighborhood because I thought if I catch these guys, I will. Yeah, I will.
I'll be right there with you.
No, it's true. I was actually walking around because I was really like, because it was many parents that reported these things at that point of time, and some were quite concerned. Fortunately, nothing happened, at least not here where we live. But
could
of
have gone
course,
to another neighborhood,
Yeah.
Gotta put these muscles to good use, just go to another neighborhood.
Exactly. They need to get their.
I think in Trinidad, I remember seeing a news story. Like I think this was like a couple years ago, where there was a guy who had he had interfered with young kids, and the people in this town or village found him. Like they found the guy. They knew what he had done, and they stripped him of his clothes and tied him to like a light pole.
Oh.
And basically they just beat him on that pole and left him there hanging there on the pole. He was alive, but they'd beaten him to like an inch of his life, tied him to the pole, completely stripped him naked, and just beat him on that pole. I would like to think that guy never did anything. I mean, the police eventually arrested him. But I would like to think an experience like that would make someone, and I think the idea is not just necessary for the person who's done it for them to learn, but more for anyone else who would consider doing such a thing to think, yeah, you don't mess with kids in this area. Like, this is an area where if you mess with kids, this is what you can expect to happen to you. And it was. I was clapping when I saw the news. When I saw it on the news, I was like, yes. I wish I was there to give him some licks too. Would have been amazing. So, just saying.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, I don't. I don't know.
Would you like if you found someone in your area who did something like that, and your neighbors had hatched this plan to do this, would you go along with it, or would you say, I think not?
That depends on the situation. I mean, if we just talk it like we were sitting like this and it hasn't happened, I haven't been there. It's like in theory, I would hope that I would put like my emotions aside and think like, well, we have a police force, we have a system, and the system has to come in play here. He has to get to the court, blah blah blah, and so on. But that's the theory. That's
rational.
That's rational. No, exactly. That's rational, and of course that's, I think, the best way to go with the problem or the issue. But at the same time, well, that was the theory part, right? And the problem sometimes, I'm not saying that could happen in that case, but how it is nowadays, at least also when I read the newspaper, we will have newspaper over the weekend, but you sit with your phone and you read different media and stuff, and you see people have been doing really horrible things, and they don't get that much. Oh, that was not he's only 2 years in jail. What? Are you kidding me?
That's exactly the opinion.
And then you have the victim. Maybe it was a young girl that was raped, and she will have problems more or less for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And what do they get? Like, who talks about the victims and all that? And it's like, now, of course, as I said, here in Sweden, for example, the tide has changed quite some due to also the right wing coming forward. I'm not saying that's a great thing, but at least that's something that has pushed like the how do you say, the incentive to look through some of the laws and also being like faster in the process regarding getting in front of a judge and then get the sentence and into jail and so on. So it has become tougher now here in that,
which is good
sense. Yeah, I think so. If you ask people mostly that are very left wing, they don't like it. So it depends on who you ask. But at least here, I don't know how it is in other countries, but that's mainly on the political side of things here. But what do I want to say with that? We still like, because they start to think, well, this guy, he might be, let's say he also comes from another country, might be migration, and he had really like, horrible youth and everything. And it's poor him, even though he killed this 15-year-old guy. It's very, you know what I'm trying to describe here? It's like, do you know what I mean?
I know it's sort of like a culture of protect the criminal over the victim, of like, oh well, he can have a life too and all this sort of stuff. And like, do I believe that some people can be reformed? Yes, but I think some crimes are I think some crimes to a certain extent, like some things I feel are irredeemable, I think, for me. And at the same time, I think like, I think you deal with the criminal first and you give the priority to the victim more than anything else. And if it is someone that they've committed a crime, there's proof of everything, you've got the whole 9 yards about it. I don't see any reason why why there should be a strong defense for this person of like, oh well, what about their background, what about this, what about that, and so forth. No, serve the time. Whatever the consequences are, you should have consequences. And I think a lot of the times when people do bad things, it's because and not just do bad things, but continue to do bad things, it's because their actions have no consequence. No matter what they do, they get away with it. And at the end of the day, I think fair is fair. If you've done something bad, there should be a consequence for it. And and that doesn't matter about where you come from or your background or whatever have you. You've done something bad. There's a consequence to your actions. I think the only time where maybe there's a little gray line is, maybe if you're a young kid, then maybe your parents have to face the consequences for not raising you better. But
now this is interesting, because now we're getting into something that is a huge thing right now in Sweden. And I'm going to get into that in a second. I also want to say hi to Carlo. Hi, my friend. How are you? Beautiful listener, I would say, or being here in the stream. So but you see here, if you talk about like organized crime and gangs and everything, they have learned that, especially since the youth kind of aspect of thing here in Sweden has been very forgiving, if we put it like that. So what they do is that they recruit guys that are like 13, 14 years old, and they pay them money, and they say, well, if you do this, it's going to be fine. You only get like 1 year, then you're out. We're going to pay you also when you get out. Cool. Okay, they do it. And we're not talking like stealing a bike or a car, or maybe do a heist. We're talking about being a hitman, killing people.
Wow.
That's what they're doing here. So you see, we're not only talking about the heavy criminals that are doing this thing. They are recruiting very young boys and girls, actually. And this has been escalating the last years. And since we then have a system that hasn't been, how do you say, we haven't been facing these issues before, then the rights system, the justice system, you might say, haven't really been sort of like adapted or changed in order to meet up with this. So now we have been lowering the age also when it comes to actually being sentenced to how do you say, an adult kind of situation, jail, instead of a youth. What is that called? Like a
youth penitentiary kind of thing.
Exactly. Light version of a
So I think for me, growing up in a
it's tough. Actually,
I grew up in a tough neighborhood, and there were a lot of kids who got into bad stuff that they otherwise shouldn't have. And
Yeah.
I think from the perspective of someone who grew up in a neighborhood like that, like my mom did a great job keeping me out of such influence, even though it was all around me. It was,
Yeah.
like it was literally all around me. People are all like all my neighbors, and they were doing bad things. There were a lot of people doing bad things around me. Even I had family members who were doing bad things, right? And but my mom did a really great job to try to avoid that. And a lot of what that meant was I wasn't allowed to go outside and just play with kids. I was indoors all the time and so forth. So there was a limit on my freedoms to go out and so forth. But not all parents are going to do something like that. Because at the time, for us growing up there wasn't an option for us not to live there. Financially speaking, it was what we could afford. And at the same time, as I mentioned, we had family in that area. So having a little bit of a support group was nearby. So going somewhere else where we had no one and having to pay more for rent and all this sort of stuff would have been seemingly impossible to do, especially for my mom being a single mom, and the budget and everything like that would have cost to do something like that. But that being said, at the same time, and this is where, like, I think parenting has a large part to play in it. I think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids go down parts like that. Like, for someone to, like, I grew up in a bad neighborhood where people could approach me and say, hey, you could come and do this and get some money or whatever have you. But because I had a good mom who was very on top of her job as a parent and so forth, it meant that even though I was approached by people to do bad things, I knew to say no. I knew to pull back. I knew how far to go. I knew, like, okay, I go this far and I can't go any further,
Yeah.
And that was just because of the fact that my mom had a very good impact on my life. And I think more than anything else, I think if countries or governments or local councils or whatever want to alleviate those sort of things, because no matter how many times you arrest these people and you arrest the kids or whatever have you, it will continue as long as whatever is the incentive for them to do something like that is gone. And two, you make it so that families have to. There's no option. It shouldn't be optional. I think when you have kids, a lot of your choices of what you do should not be optional. Like, for example, my son gets sent home from school. It's not an option for me. Do I come and pick him up? Like, I will get charged. If I keep him home from school, I will get charged. Right? That there's a consequence for me keeping him home from school instead of sending him to school to learn. There's a consequence for me if he gets in trouble and I don't come and deal with it and take care of the situation. There's a consequence to that. I think for me, despite the fact that I'm not happy about it half the time, I understand why that consequence is important, because of the fact it prevents parents who are neglectful of their kids from being neglectful of their kids. At least it disincentivizes them. Does it work for everyone? Hell no. But it is a strong disincentivizer from people, taking their kids out of school and maybe making them do nothing at home or whatever have you and so forth. And again, having systems in place, I think, for when parents are not around, maybe they're working or whatever have you, where kids don't end up hanging out on the street or going to random places. Like, it should just be, I think, to a certain extent, it should just be illegal for kids to just be randomly wandering around without any adult supervision, unless, of course, it's like at a playground where kids are all playing together with other kids. I think if you have kids hanging out with adults that are not their parents and not their family, that's weird for me. Like, straight up, that is just weird. You shouldn't, unless, of course, that is an organized situation where maybe you have a community come together to create something for kids to do and so forth. That's fine as far as I'm concerned. But if it's just random dudes hanging out with random kids, no. And to add with the random dudes hanging out, random dudes should just not be hanging out on the street for no reason. You should, if you're hanging out, and you should have like a place that you hang out. Like, that's why there pubs and stuff exist. So you hang out at your house or whatever have you. But if you just hanging on the street corners and you call kids over, hey, come over here, I got this to do for you. No, immediately anything like that happened, that person's arrested. You're a pedophile as far as I'm concerned. You're a creep. You arrest you, go away. Never come back. For me, that's I think once you start messing with kids and you're endangering kids, for me, you can get life as far as I'm concerned. I lock you up, throw away the key. I'd never have to see you again. I'll be happy with that, and I think I think with a lot of things like this, for me, I believe you don't just treat because you do have to address the issue. right? But you have to treat the cause as well, like what's causing it. It's like,
Yes.
you know, you have to deal with that first and foremost, and then you treat the like the stuff that's happening. So the people that are already doing it, yeah, you're gonna have to arrest those people. But you have to do everything within your power to make sure that that doesn't happen again, and then create preventative measures. So it's like diabetes. You could say to someone, oh, well, you have diabetes. Here is all these medications to take and all this sort of stuff, but you could prevent future people from having diabetes by making sure, hey, maybe you make sugar illegal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
You limit the amount of sugar that companies are allowed to put in foods, and you say, hey, if it goes over this amount, you will receive a charge because you are incentivizing diabetes. And maybe you limit the amounts that people can buy certain things in their houses. However it may work, but you and then you encourage healthier foods. Maybe you raise the price of anything that has a lot of sugar, and you lower the prices of things that has less sugar. So then people, when they go to the grocery store, it's like, ooh, I want ice cream, but that is really expensive. Let me buy fruit. Let me buy an apple. An apple is way less than a tub of ice cream is. Things like that. Then you have less and less people buying. It doesn't happen over one day. Over time, you have less and less people buying a lot of those sweets. More and more people buying the fruit. Before long, you've changed the whole culture. People prefer fruits. It's easier that way. And I think it's that kind of approach that you take with situations like this.
I think also, it has like different, how should we call it, like layers. It's both the ones that you are spending your time with, like talk free time or whatever you're doing, as you described it. It has to do with your parents and how much they do engage in you and your activities. And then it actually has to do with also what happens if it goes south. If it actually goes to gets to a point where you do get into, let's say you get to jail. Because I find it quite interesting. I've seen some well, put it like this. First off, I want to meet up here a bit with Carlo that is writing something because he says, save the victim and ensure the perpetrator does not do it again. Although most prisons just have sit and think about what you've done punishment, which doesn't work. Yeah. And that is the thing. Now we're getting to something, because here in Sweden and in Scandinavia, for many, many years, they have taken a bit of a different approach when it comes to being like, even with quite hard criminals. The jails are not only that sitting. What they try to do is to give them incentives and also possibilities and responsibilities when it comes to things to do, but also maybe even get an education while being there, if possible. Because the thing is, if you are put into jail, you already there have started your punishment. It doesn't need to be a cell where it's dark and you see this medieval place like where they throw in bread and give you water. No, it can actually be. I know some people have been complaining about this also in Sweden. No, it shouldn't be like a hotel room. I'm not saying it has to be like that, but just being locked in is very, it puts something in your head here. It does, especially if you're going to be there for like 15 years. Let's just say the excellent example. So what am I trying to say? Yeah, so what they've done in most Scandinavia, I would say, but also now slowly in other parts of the world, is to understand, or they've actually been doing experiments where they see if they do these kind of things during the jail time and have this pedagogic, like, how do you say, counseling also, it actually shows that it's a much bigger chance that, let's say, this dude Tom doesn't go out and immediately falls back into what he did like the 15 years before he went into prison. Because it gives him more how do you say, knowledge, and maybe also start to get the respect for both himself but other people, and also maybe that he learns something that he can actually move on with when he gets out of jail. Maybe, let's say, work at a workshop for cars, for example. He might have that interest and they can help him with that. It was actually so that on Netflix there's a series also when it comes to the US. I mean, US have been very restrictive, very old school when it comes to jail. It should be hard. It should be this. The guards don't talk with the prisoners, because that's also a thing I want to say. In Scandinavia, there's interaction between like the guards, the personality, the jail, and the actual prisoners. And so there's a Netflix series that's kind of interesting. I don't know where in the US it was, but they went over to Norway, Sweden, and Finland, maybe Denmark, and visited some prisons here. And at first they were like, "You can do that? Could we do that at home? No way, no way!" They were very skeptical. But the man who was in charge of the prison in wherever that was in the US, he said, "We're gonna try this," and they actually had like one of the big cell blocks. This was a huge jail, right? They started out as an experiment, meaning fixing the kitchen so they could be there making their own food. They have even started to add, because at the most of the time here in the jails, they can also use like a fork and a knife. And they can use a knife to actually cut the meat when they're cooking together in the kitchen without actually using it to kill someone, while cooking. So they started slowly to adapt into that. And it was kind of interesting to see that, because some really grew by doing this. You could see that they became so much more like starting to get back a kind of hope for their future. They started to think that, well, maybe I can actually come out and do something good.
Yeah.
And they also start to realize what kind of shitty life they had been living before. And it was really interesting. Again, it's a documentary. I don't know what it was called.
Is it inside the world's toughest prisons? Because
no, it's not that one.
Okay.
No, that's also a cool series. So I have been watching that. It's a guy that travels around the world and talking about really tough prisons. Oh my God!
Because it has. They have like there's Norway and Finland in that, as well as
true. But that's just he's sitting like for 14 days or something at each place, or a few days, I don't know, but it's like, yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So what I'm just trying, we're gonna leave this now, but I find this very interesting.
Yeah, again, I do as well.
I believe in that, because as you said, not everyone, there will be like failures, of course.
Yeah.
But they have now done this for so long time, especially here, that they see that this actually prevents more people from falling back into their own their old like bad habits and their own old life as criminals. So, and as you said, Carlo, yeah, kids needs to be encouraged to play with kids that are wholesome. Yeah, it's like a, it's always this like yin and yang situation where you kind of have to find a balance. And as Q said before, it is kind of weird if they start to hang out. As I also described what the heavy criminals or the gangs has done here in Sweden, when they start to recruit really young, like wannabe kids that, think, oh, it looks really cool world. This, oh, I got like 5K in my hand just by delivering this bag, because they might do that the first time, but then they all of a sudden have a depth, like, well, you owe me.
Yeah.
No, I don't. You owe me. You have to do this now.
Yeah.
Or, and then they're stuck. They're stuck.
Yeah.
They can't do anything. So that happens, and it's a really really horrible thing.
I think if you can find that series, that'll be great. I've been looking for it while you've been talking, but I think that'd be great to recommend, because I'd definitely like to see that one if it's on Netflix. I think it would be a good watch. But yeah, definitely definitely a kind of topic I think needs to be discussed. I think to a certain extent, the way in which things have been going in the world, we've got. There's a lot of tension in the world, a lot of tenseness across everywhere, and I think sometimes we just need to have tough conversations, and I think we need to find less of the friction and maybe more of a coming together and understanding, but also a mindset of like, we need to fix things that are broken. If something's broken, it needs to be fixed. We need to find solutions to problems and improve the lives not for us, but for the next generation. Because at the end of the day, we're old. We've lived our generation for the most part, and we've had all the good stuff that has come from that generation. We've had our good stuff. We've had our bad stuff, but we've had our good stuff. And I think now the next generation, I'm scared for the next generation, but at the same time, it's like we kind of made, or maybe the generation before us kind of made things bad for the generation to come, because of, I guess, maybe policies that were made, things that were allowed to happen that shouldn't have happened. And just, generally we as the generation to come, as the which would be the older generation, probably making a bit more decisions, need to fix that. I think similarly, if I'm correct, I think in the UK, I think they plan to lower the age of voting in the UK, where younger people can vote. What is the age for voting in Sweden?
18.
I think they're lowering it to 16. I think in the UK. I think
that's too low. I think.
I think so too. That's
a bad idea. Don't do that.
My son is 15 years old and he's immature as hell. His decision making is not. I do not trust it.
Many are very young, also at the age of 18. So
yeah,
don't go too low with that. I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do that. But it's
You could see kids voting for another kid just for it to be a meme and have a laugh. Like that I could see happening in an election. Like one kid decides, I'm going to run for it because I'm going to make a meme out of it. And all these other 16-year-olds are like, yes, let's do this. Chaos.
No. Actually, I got to put this in because we're going to move on also. But there's one, I think we have been watching two. There might be two series that has something similar regarding this. But this is one. I'm going to put it to you here. And it's called Unlocked, a jail experiment. That's one of the things that I was talking about when it comes to US and what they tried to do here. We're gonna see. Hi, also Miss ANR. Hope you're fine. It's gonna be like this.
Unlocked a jail experience.
No, it's not inside the world's toughest prisons. That's another thing. And as said,
I'm gonna select
with Raphael. Yeah, I know. I've been
Unlocked.
Watching
that. It is on my to watch this.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be weird now that I've added 2 prison stuff to my Netflix to watch this. That's I don't know what Netflix is gonna think of me now, but I hope Netflix understands this is all just documentary curiosity.
Exactly.
Going from a bunch of romantic stuff and anime to prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find also there is another one that I was mainly thinking about when they came over here. Darn it. I will do my best to find that too. Let's see if I can do it when we're talking about things. But okay, so regarding your week, I mean, is there anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think we move on. I think we move on. What about your week? Yes. Anything we need to add?
Yes. It's been a good week, because what we have been doing is to continue to do stuff with the family, going for these like one-day adventures, if you will. We went to Drottningholm, which is it's not too far either away from the core of Stockholm. It's a castle called Drottningholm Slott, Drottningholm's castle, that is still in very good shape because that's actually where the king and the queen lives quite some during the year. Sorry, I need to drink.
I envy you.
But they are at their summer place at Öland, which is an island outside of Sweden right now, so they aren't there. But we went there. We have been there before, but it was a very long time ago. Beautiful place. We also took a tour, went through the castle. What happened with me? I'm getting to that too. I think I know why. So that we have been doing, and some other stuff. We have been eating good. We have been spending time together because annually my wife started to work on what day is it now? It's Wednesday, right? She started to work on Monday. My oldest son, Agent Adam, he still has time until he has 2 more weeks. So today, as an example, actually, on Saturday we went with the whole family to a place which is like what is it called? Let me check this out. It's called. It's like a quarry.
Oh, quarry.
Yeah, but it's quite big, but it's be filled with water, and it's quite nice to take a bath there. So
really,
and it was and it's like it was actually Adam was Googling about another place in the area that has like a cool car store and things like that. It's interesting. So, it was not really meant to be, but he found it. So we went there. And it was really cool. It was one of those places you realize because there's not really any signs like pointing or saying anything. So small roads and whatnot, but it was nice. So we took a bath there, had a good time. And today we went back there, me, Adam, Isaac, and Adam, one of his friends, Leon, that works also at Experiment 101. So we took a bath. We actually, this time around, I brought my diving mask, my fence, my everything, the gear. Even though it's okay water. Just watching some fishes and having a bit of a good time. So I think that's why I'm starting to cough a bit, because it's been so much water in my ears and my nose, and that's could be. But good time. We had a lunch, also a bit of a coincidence. On the way there, we saw, look at this, a small Japanese restaurant. Cool. So Saturday, sushi for sure. But this time around, we actually had ramen.
Really?
No, that was on Saturday. Yeah, it was really good ramen. It was so good. It was really, really good. And then Adam actually started to read about the restaurant, all night. Oh, they have really good grades. They've gone like really good things that people have said about it. So it was not just a small little shitty place. It was good. So with that said, now today when we went back there, me and the boys, so to say, we had a lunch there today as well. So it's been good. I mean, what I have, as I've described to you, I've tried to, since I don't have like a normal vacation schedule or whatnot, I've been trying to it's not ideal, but I've been trying to have like a day off a bit and then work maybe 1 or 2 days and then a day off or something like that. Follow the flow of my family, what we can come up with and things like that. Now, of course, it's starting to get back to normal like activities, and we actually accepted a concert when it comes to Capital 59. As you know, we haven't been playing for a long time, and I'm like a bit worried, how am I now? What kind of shape am I in with my arms and everything? It's going to be on the 17th of August, so we're going to meet up on Friday with the band for the first time in a long time, the whole summer. We haven't been seeing each other to test and check out. And I was also at the, did I mention that I was at the, what is it called? Orthopedist. Did I say that?
No.
That I met? Okay, so I went to this orthopedist a week ago, and he did like, what is that called now? It's called...
Let me Google. What does an orthopedist do again? Is that like...
orthopedist is a doctor that is, specialized when it comes to like the bones in the body and tendons and everything like that. And yeah, so he has specialized in especially shoulders, and also using ultrasound. Ultrasound that they usually check you. For example, if your wife is pregnant, they use ultrasound, right? So he was going through my especially my left shoulder and my elbow, and he just said that, well, I can tell you this. What I know is what you don't have. You don't have arthritis. I can't see that. You don't have a tendon that is like damaged or anything. Of course, you can still have an entrapment when it comes to nerve. That I can't see. Because I also gonna make another attempt for MR X-ray on Monday. Not looking forward to it, but I'm gonna try to do that. And he said, okay, it's good, but it was a bit of a disappointment when he said, like, don't expect that they will see anything like that also on an MR when it comes to entrapment. Yes, I just want to say it. Okay, I got it. But we talked about who I am, what I do, and of course he realized I was working out, and he said, I do think though that you should continue to work out. I just want to prepare you that this might take a long time. Because I mean, imagine this guy he was like 64 years old. He has been working with this, or more or less his whole life. He has also been working. I said, I had problems with my 2 shoulders for like 5 years. I was like, oh, okay. But he just said that, be patient. It's going to take time. What now? But don't stop working out, because it is so hard to get back on the horse if you do that for a longer period of time. And yeah, it is. I mean, from like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So that was basically it. So it's been kind of an interesting, dynamic week of experiences, fun stuff to do regarding the family life. And also I'm glad that got a pretty fast appointment. Actually, when I got this letter, I was like, okay, I went into their schedule and there was only one time left in July. So I grabbed it immediately. Otherwise, I would have have to wait like to the end of August. So this was good. Good timing for me. So yeah. Oh, 17th of August is it your birthday? Well, happy. Not yet. Well, it's not July, but yeah. Okay, I gotta wait. But we're actually playing a gig on your birthday. Then I'm gonna think about that for sure. Yes, stop trying to steal the spotlight. Oh man, Q, I saw what you're doing here. Okay, this is the beauty of doing something live, isn't it? Yeah. But even so, yeah. So it's been good. I have to say, it's been good. I mean, now I guess you can also see where you live that if you check out the window when it's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., well, it starts to be, darker. It's slowly getting into another season. At least that's the case here. It's not as bright as it was like, let's say, 3 weeks ago. No, I'm not. I am absolutely not saying that. I'm just saying that it's slowly transforming. That's sounds better to say it like that. Yeah, exactly. Close it, whatever you do. Okay, time is flying really fast. But it's interesting. As always, this is what happens. You see, we started to talk about, children and youth and whatever, and then we got into the aspect of yeah, it snowballs for sure. Yes. Mhm. Who is that? Yeah. Someone in the room or oh yeah. Oh, it's you up there. Okay, okay. Yeah. And then I start to laugh. Why do I laugh? Well, first off, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I watched the first movie. I did not know that this movie was out. I was like, oh, look at that now. And I just watched it yesterday. That's basically what I did. I have to admit that I did fall asleep a bit towards like 75 into the percent into the movie. I fell asleep a bit. It wasn't like because the movie's bad, because I don't think it is. But it was just me being tired. I was at the gym in the afternoon also with the boys, actually, both Adam and Isaac. Okay, so Shazam, Fury of the Gods. It has a rating on IMDb. If we start with the official stuff, it has a 5.9 out of 10. I will put myself around there. This is something that if you enjoyed the first movie, which I kind of did, and I think that was my incentive to actually watch the second one, because I mean it's a bit quirky almost once in a while. It's this Shazam guy who is actually a teenage, but apparently when he's reciting the magic word Shazam, well, he transformed into like his adult him being the superhero alter ego Shazam. Okay. And spoiler, well, his friends and close guys around him are also now because he shared his abilities or whatnot. Well, they can also Shazam, but they have different strengths, but they are all more like belonging to the same superhero family, if that makes sense. So with that said, it has both the action, of course. It has both like comedy, because a lot of that actually, as I said, it's a bit quirky from time to time. But we talked about this before we started. Like sometimes you have to be in a certain. Oh, actually, when we started, we have to be in a certain mood when you're watching something. And I was in the right mood for this movie. If this would have been on another day, I would be like, nah, is it over soon? But no, I had a good time. I did enjoy it. It was nice. I mean, there are some good scenes and also some good actors and whatnot here. I mean, we know Zachary Levi, of course, is just like, the guy. But I mean, we also have like Lucy Liu in there as one of the villains, alongside with Helen Mirren. I mean, Helen Mirren, she's like OG.
Mhm.
So quite some good acting and stuff. And it's very like a, how do you say? I would say almost like a family movie. You can watch if you have like, if I'm thinking of your sons, for example. I think they would find it quite cool to watch as well. So for me, it's one of those movies. I would say like this. Yes, you can watch it, and I can recommend it. Not like a strong recommendation. I can recommend it, but it also means that if you don't watch it, you're okay. You're perfectly fine. There are other things out there you can watch and maybe enjoy even more. But this is okay, and therefore I also give it about the same rating. It's like in the mid there.
Yeah.
Between, if it would be 1 to 5, I would put it at a 2.7, you know, or 3, you know.
2.7 or 3, so it's like slightly above average. It's like,
yeah, yes, for me, yes, I would say so.
Okay, noted. Good to know. I would say for me, what I've been watching this week is something called Skeleton Knight in Another World, which is an anime.
Puberty growth spurt. Sorry.
There's the Shazam comment.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that comment. I did notice.
Carlo, man. Yeah.
Shazam doesn't equal puberty growth spurt, indeed. You know what? I did take some time trying to find that thumbnail for Shazam. Indeed.
Good stuff. Good work.
Took some work putting that one together. So yeah, so the show I watched this week, Skeleton Knight in Another World, is an anime. Been watching on Crunchyroll in dub, and the storyline is basically this guy. He wakes up. He's a gamer. So let's say like you and me. Imagine you're up one night and you're playing Call of Duty and you fall asleep. You wake up next morning. And when you wake up, you're in Call of Duty and you're your character in Call of Duty. So you're like, oh wait a minute, I've got a gun. Huh.
Oops, okay, that happened.
This is the armor that I've been wearing. Oh, bloody hell. Right? Oh. But so he wakes up in the other world. But when he was creating his character in the game, he decided to equip a skin that is a skeleton skin. So he's a skeleton inside an armor, and he's in this other world. And he basically has to hide his identity as a skeleton, you know, because he thinks it'll freak people out. But he's like leveled up his character to like really high specs. He has all the best gear and all this sort of stuff, and he can do all these cool things. So he's sort of like an OP character in this fantasy world that he's been playing in. But at the same time, he's sort of like navigating, like he wants to go and drink and eat and make friends and do all this sort of stuff. And I think the best way to put it is it's kind of wholesome. It's not it's
nice.
Not like heavy on the action. It's not heavy on the fan service. It's just wholesome in a very like chill, relaxed kind of way. It's a 7.0 on IMDb. I'd give it a 7 as well. I think that's like about where I land on it. I haven't finished it, but where I've gotten so far, it's easy watching. It's lighthearted. I don't really have to think too much while watching it, and I like it. So I'll say that's about what I've been watching this week. And yeah, that's mainly been my telly. VGM games, Raj. Let's talk about some VGM games since we're done with telly. You have been playing a game I believe we've spoken about before. Am I correct in that? Yes.
You are so correct. It's a game called Enlisted, which is a free-to-play MMO shooter that has been out since 2021. But it's a Gaijin game. You know, Gaijin also made War Thunder, and but they are not the developers, but the publishers when it comes to Enlisted. And I have enjoying this game, you know, through the years. It's not a game that I have been playing on like a weekly or even daily basis or something like that. But it's a pretty decent or good World War II MMO shooter. They have been quite, how do you say, also detailed when it comes to like the uniforms and things like that. It does remind me a bit about a game or games I enjoyed some time ago that was called Red Orchestra. When it comes to the same World War II environment. Even so, what happened is, and I have talked about this also, so it has been only available by playing on their own like Gaijin launcher that you download the game on. If you play on PC, I'll download it on enlisted.net and apparently planes like that. Then they decided, we're going to release it on Steam as well. Great. So they did that, and this is what I talked about before. I made a video about it in May, I think, or April, May. But for some freaking reason, they decided to make it sound so special. It was like a version that you could get, and you get this and that, and it costs 200, like $25 or something. And people were like, wait, what? This is a free to play game? It's like the same game, but you can go on Enlisted.net, download the launcher and play it for free. What are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
So they pulled the handbrake, took away the game from Steam for some time, and kind of, they made they laid flat on their backs and said, sorry, I don't really know the full story. But then the other day, because right now it's quite a lot of, I see now there's quite some games coming slowly here that might be of interest. And I was going to mention one that I just tested out today when it comes to playtest, like an extra thing here in the podcast. But what I wanted to say about Enlisted, so they did relaunch it on Steam the right way, meaning as what it is, a free-to-play game. So after, like, it was on the 16th of July, so it hasn't been up that long, but it's already has like positive reviews at least, and it does have an okay player count, like starting like I think around 2.5k players, active players. Have been topping like 4k something, but then we should remember that there are thousands of players playing directly on the Guardian launcher, and it's also crossplay, and it's also released on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, So it's quite still, after being out from 2021 as a whole, a pretty popular game. And I think now also, especially going back, since I've talked about other games that are more modern or has been released recently, if that makes sense, then it stands to test pretty okay. They made this big merge update in at the end of last year, and some people like it, some don't. They reworked the whole system when it comes to how you grind and level things up and things like that. Sure, it has a monetization system, and it kind of leans towards pay to win, but if you're gonna be nice, it's more like, well, pay to progress, we can say. I haven't spent the dime in the game. You can still play it, and if you know what you're doing, if you used to play FPS games, you will still do well.
Yeah.
Even though you might get to a point where people have been spending money because again, this is the core game mode is called Squads, and you are playing with a AI squad, so it's PvP, PvE. So for example, if I get shot when playing first person, I quickly shift to one of my AI guys, take him over, so to speak, and play as him. So that's a kind of a tactical thing, you might say, in the game, partly. But it's pretty cool. I have to say, it's kind of nice to see that something is kind of keeping itself together, not falling apart, and that still moves on through the years now, because we've also seen a lot of games come in early access and then boop, they're gone. We have been discussing this before. With that said, I also want to add, since I have now quite a few games on my radar, there are a few things I've already been playtesting, but I'm not going to mention it. But this I want to mention because I think it might be something positive around the corner. I think that the former, like at least part of the Bungie crew, behind Destiny and everything, they are working or have been working with this game called Concord when it comes to PlayStation. But for some freaking reason, well, I've tried it. I think it's okay, but it's not really putting anything new on the table. It feels like if you're playing like Destiny / Overwatch, and it's a hero shooter, once more a hero shooter, and they're gonna charge $40 for it, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be DOA, dead on arrival. So good luck. That's what I think. But then, boom, from the sky, coming down to earth. No, not really that big of a thing, but I have been playing today some Marvel Rivals when it comes to the playtest.
Oh, I've been curious about that. What do you think?
This can be good. It for the first time in a long time, I get into a game that plays well, but it's not released yet. Just that. And it has the things like when you go into the menu, it's already like a server browser. It has, you can practice, but practice range is one thing, but you can also go into like, play against AI and choose like 3 different difficulties. The settings when it comes to PC, the only thing I was like missing, it's quite simple though. I mean, we should remember that they are also used to do like mobile games, or is this actually from the beginning for
Mhm.
mobile, or it's going to work on mobile as well. But I just wanted to say that it's quite straightforward, and I had fun today. I am not, you know me, I'm more like boots on the ground kind of normal FPS military shooter-ish game, but I had fun. I had a really good match. It was quite different between, I only played two online game matches, but one game. What is the character's name? My God, I'm so bad at that. It's the Spider-Verse. It's the girl that
Gwen, Spider Gwen.
yeah, nah, was it Gwen?
What does she look like? Is it the robot one?
She's yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. May Parker.
Yes, May
Yeah.
Parker. May
That's-
Parker, exactly. And she's like a heavy kind of character here. If you think Diva a bit like in Overwatch, but still not. And I went ham. I went like 27-1 in that game. I was yeah. I think that this can be a good one. And I see already now online. Actually, Adam, my oldest son, just sent me this on. I'm gonna read it. It was like a lot of people are saying the same thing as you said after playing Marvel Rivals. He was here watching me playing just a bit before he went before the podcast. Man, after getting my hands on Marvel Rivals, this is not my words. I just haven't been able to even look at Concord anymore. That's the playtest when it comes to the PlayStation game I just mentioned. Both hero shooters, and both coming out debuting at relatively the same time. I'm not sure exactly when that is. I'd rather just play Rivals since it's free to play and my friends can join without worry of investment.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's
Keep
brilliant.
your eyes on Marvel Rivals. I'm not sure if it's still able to join the playtest on Steam.
Yeah, I don't see the option. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. It says
no option, or
it says because it's closed beta, it's not open, is it? All I'm seeing is planned release date to be announced, and you can add it to your wish list, which I have. It's in my wish list. But it says sign up and start here. I think this is for the closed beta. It says closed beta test kicks off on July the 23rd. And it ends on July the 24th. That's today. Continue.
It ends today. Oh, well, then maybe that's why, because Adam could find the button, so to say, on the Steam page, because it was there like 2 days ago when I played.
It's coming back though. It's coming back. August the 5th till let's see what date it says. It says and continues until August the 5th. Oh no. Actually, no. This first time, so July the 23rd, this is actually a different time zone. UTC to July the 24th till August the 5th. So it should still be running until August the 5th. So I'm not sure how you get in, but I think they probably hit max capacity probably, and then no one can get in. So yeah.
Yes, that's what I believe. I believe that's the case.
Yeah,
I'm just writing here in the chat some weird stuff, me and Carlo. But yeah,
it says complete a questionnaire.
Keep your eyes on this. Make it like a wish list thing, whatever. Because I think you will. I'm pretty sure you will like this too. Sure there might be balance things to look into later on, but yeah. I of course I played with quite a few heroes, tested them out. Punisher, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man.
Iron Man seems like he'd be a
Storm,
perfect fit. Who's he? Oh, you know who I would definitely use? I'd definitely use Magic. Oh, she's definitely one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, you see. Now, but I hope they continue to do well from where they are now, because I say this again. We've talked about so many games in the podcast here, and I've been so disappointed so many times. But this time around, just starting up the game. Okay, look at that now. Shaders are loading. Good. Okay. It looks good here. Unreal Engine 5. And of course, since Adam is working in Unreal Engine 5, he was like, I know exactly what kind of settings you're going to use now. So he was like, go through this. And then, now you can play. Okay. It's so funny. You should see that. Yeah.
Oh my god! You know what?
Yeah.
I've been watching this for a little bit, but I didn't bite the bullet on joining the beta, and I know I kind of regret it a little bit. But that being said, I'm pretty sure whenever this launches, I will be in there with you, bro. I definitely
Yes,
could see
yes.
myself doing
We should
this.
play then for sure.
Yes, of
Yes.
course, definitely. And
Does it say it's not a date yet, is it?
no,
Like
it
official?
says the date hasn't been announced yet. Date to be announced, but the closed beta is running until August the 5th. So my estimation, if I had to consider that they're going to take time to maybe do a little bit of development, I'm thinking either end of August to early September is probably when they would launch it. Now, personally speaking, I think they should launch this in August because kids are off school during
Yes,
that
yes.
like holiday time and stuff like that. So I think launching this in the summer would be a good thing rather than to launch this in the autumn season. But if not, maybe winter. But who am I? I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, yeah, let's see. But again,
They'll make a lot
okay,
of money
so
off of this, though. Just thinking about all the Marvel characters and the skins that these characters could have, and all this sort of stuff from all the comics and stuff. Oh my god, it's almost infinite. Just thinking about it.
also good from what I can see here, because if we're talking regions, languages supported, North America, Europe, Asia, that's regions when it comes to service. Languages, English, Japanese, Korean, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Chinese.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And the cast of characters, you got Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Groot, the Punisher, Hela, Iron Man, Loki, Rocket, Mantis, Penny Parker. That's the one you had, Penny Parker.
Yes.
Magneto, Magic, Spider-Man, Venom, Scarlet Witch, Star-Lord, Storm, Luna Snow. I don't know who the hell Luna Snow is. Hulk, Namor, and Adam Warlock. Literally, I know every character on this roster except Luna Snow. Who the hell is Luna Snow?
I have heard. Wait, what? Luna Snow? Who is she?
She looks like a generic character. It says equal parts pop
South
star.
Korean origin.
Yeah, this is
She's a K-pop idol who possesses ice-based superpowers.
This must be a new character.
Yeah.
Like this is a new comic book character. I've never heard of her.
But I know, I have heard her name, but I didn't know that she had like South Korean origin. Okay, there we go. Yeah, cool. But yeah, so
She looks like a SHIELD agent. She is a SHIELD agent, is she?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I just googled her. She looks like a SHIELD agent in the artwork here that they have of her. So no. Maybe she is a SHIELD agent from South Korea.
Okay, I can say this now when it comes to the playtest. Adam just checked. He's writing to me now. This is live. He checked, and the only way to get the Marvel Rivals keys right now for the playtest is to watch Twitch streams for drops. So that's
but then Adam works in the industry. He can probably call a guy.
He could probably call a guy. That's
cool. He's gonna be like, look, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Look, here's the thing, right? I work for this amazing studio. You guys are probably gonna want to get early access to our game when it comes up. Just shoot me a key for this thing, and I might consider you. Right? Can't promise anything, and then be like, yeah, sure, no problem. We'll hook you up, man. Yeah.
Cool. Exactly. That's how they do it. Yeah. Well, they called the power of music will save us, most likely, or I hope so. But again, time flies. I've been talking a lot, but I really wanted to talk about, also mention this again, Enlisted. Yeah, nice. But man, I'm happy to try something new that I feel that not only that I would like to play, even though it's not my direct kind of cup of tea when it comes to shooter games. But even so, it just felt like, they are onto something here. I could feel it. I could smell it. We've been playing so many games now that you start to feel it when something is going on here. Yeah. So, thumbs up for Marvel Rivals so far. I will continue to play test it. Maybe even then make a video if I guess I can, or is it I have to see so it's not like a... No, I don't think it's an NDA stuffy can't do thing. Yeah.
Noted.
But my dear friend, what about you? And
we must continue. We must continue indeed. So for me, I have been playing a lot of Stellar Blade, which you guys can see the gameplay on the screen. I've been playing. A lot of that footage is from my gameplay. There's some footage I didn't capture because I decided I didn't want to capture any more footage to a certain extent. I just wanted to just play and enjoy the game. But I've captured hours upon hours of this game.
Wow.
And
Yeah, cool.
it is amazing. I've unlocked a lot of outfits. I think if I really pushed, I could push to the late game because I've collected a lot of stuff in the game. And I think for me, my play style when I play RPGs is to try to collect everything. Like I don't go back and play New Game Plus. I'm not that guy. It's very rare that I do that. Like I go back into New Game Plus. So I try to do as much as I can so I don't have any regrets after I finish after the credits roll. So I've been doing a lot of stuff, trying to collect all the stuff, doing all the side missions because like I'm at a point in the game, when you get to a point in some games and it says you can proceed, but if you pass this point, you can't do any of these other missions. So I'm just wrapping up all my side missions before I continue the story and see where it goes from there. The game's fun. It is absolutely an enjoyable experience. I am loving my time with it, and I look forward to turning it on my PlayStation 5. And it's the one game that I play on the PS5 these days. I really don't turn on the PS5 for anything other than this, and it looks absolutely amazing. I wish when I captured it, it would capture, like I could capture it with HDR and all those sort of features enabled, but my capture card doesn't have the option to do that. I think I need to upgrade my capture card at some point. It's probably not a priority right now, but in the future, probably in the near future, I will probably upgrade it to one that captures HDR because then I can play it with the full graphic settings enabled. And still capture the footage the way I want it. So, but either way, that's the footage from what I've been playing. Stellar Blade, it is absolutely amazing. I think if you have a PS5, it is an easy pickup as far as I'm concerned. If you don't have a PS5, wait. It should be coming to PC as far as I'm aware. So if you're a PC gamer, just kick back and wait. It'll come out on PC. I'm probably going to double dip. I'll probably get it on PC when it comes on PC as well. It is published by Sony, and a lot of the PlayStation games that came out on PS5 have come to PC. So it's just going to be one of them.
It's not going to be like a Xbox Game Pass kind of game.
No. This is more like going to be a PlayStation, like a Steam release or Epic
Steam
Games. So it will probably go on Epic first and then Steam. At least that's how I think it would go because of the fact that that's how PlayStation has been doing with their releases. They've put them on Epic first and then dumped it on Steam, which I think is ridiculous. You'd get more sales if you put it on Steam immediately.
Yes.
But and especially if it's not too far away from the initial release, because I don't know many people who buy games twice, buy it on Epic and then buy it on Steam. I think you're either an Epic person or a Steam person, because I kid you not, I've got an Epic Games account and I put I claim almost all of the free games they put out there, but I never play anything on that. Like I just claim the stuff just to have the stuff. And if I really think about myself, being honest with myself, I'll probably give that account to Ty or something when he's old enough. I'll probably be like, Ty, here's your account. This is your Epic account. You go and play whatever you want on it. And it's just loaded with a bunch of games because I'm a Steam guy. Like my library is there.
Same. I mean,
so yeah, that's generally. Also with the Steam Deck, it's really difficult to not play on Steam, because
of course,
my Steam Deck it's almost always with me. It's a beautiful little thing. It's almost always with me. Always. Let me turn it on for you guys. Let me hear the sound it makes. Let's go there. That is Yakuza on there.
Oh, there it is.
Yakuza on the Steam Deck. Yes.
Yes.
Very nice. Beautiful device. I think if you don't have a Steam Deck and you can afford it, it's a great buy. If you have a Steam Deck, if you can't afford it, you don't need to go out of your way to afford it if you have a PC. But if you don't have a Steam Deck, I would say get one if you can afford it. I'll also say the thing about the Steam Deck, the way I would describe it, I think it's a complementary device to having a desktop, because yes, you can have a Steam Deck without having a desktop PC, but it is so amazing having one and having a desktop PC, because a lot of the games that you play, you can play, the games aren't at their highest graphic settings, at least not all of them on the Steam Deck. But on your PC, like say for example, I start playing a game like this on the Steam Deck, it will lower the resolution and a few stuff. But I can couple my PC and just continue while I was playing when I get home. So for example, my PC is right here and my Tele is right next to me. I could run a HDMI cable to my Tele and boom, or put a splitter from the monitor to the Tele, boom, split that off. I've got footage on both screens. I could be playing Steam right now. It'd be awesome. So, which I probably will. I probably should do that.
Talking about it, good.
But yeah, that's about it. That's my game for this week. I don't think I'll be playing anything other than Stellar Blade and probably eFootball. for the foreseeable future. I do plan to play the Trails games, which people have asked me about. I do plan to jump in and play those soon. But I think the ability to be able to focus on a game like that will come when Alex is back. When she's back, I'll have the, I guess, mental capacity to sort of like sit down and jump into a whole new JRPG, especially after I've finished Celebrate, which I want to finish before then. So I'm hopeful. Hopefully I finish Celebrate within the next couple of days, and at least by the end of the week, and so forth. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna see. I'm supposed to go see, what do you call that film? Wolverine and Deadpool. Are you watching it?
Oh, you are.
Are you going to see Raj?
We were, we were just talking about it today.
Because we could do that next week. That could be the thing. If you go this weekend and I go this weekend, we could do it next week, Raj. I'm just saying that could be the episode. That could be.
Yeah, we'll see.
This is not a question, Raj. I'm just telling you, like, just book your tickets now. It's like, just saying, we need this
now.
It could be. I'm just saying, this weekend we could be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine next week Wednesday. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll see. Good. No, I want to see it, of course. Yeah, I just read a strange review. Yeah, it was a strange review in a paper here, and I was like, okay, whatever.
What was the review? Was it like, this is a terrible movie? Actually, you know what? Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
No, it wasn't. I can say no, it wasn't like that. But it was just, sometimes they just go out of, I don't know what they are writing about. Have they seen the movie or what are they talking about? Well, I'm not getting into that. But bro, what do you say? We might have an episode, or?
I think we have an episode. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel content saying that it should be something like that.
You know, I think I'll do.
Going on for a long time. Also now today,
definitely
1.5 almost.
I think what I will do, and like with this episode, and like probably near future, I'll clip it. I'll cut out the section from the beginning, right, and make that a separate video on the channel that people can then have that whole conversation about that topic that we had, because I think it was insightful. Nice. And I think it's a good conversation topic, and then have the regular schmeggly stuff in here. So who knows? You know, we'll do it. We'll get it done.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the beautiful and fun stream. I'm happy that you thought so, Colin. Always good to have you here, and be safe, you guys as well. I just want to say, as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And of course, also, if you're listening afterwards, the stream is over. Thank you very much. I hope you're going to have a good week now. Take care and enjoy life to the fullest as much as you can. Hopefully you got some good tips when it comes to video games. Those that are present out there already, and things to come. Marvel rivals. And, and of course, also all the other beautiful stuff that we like to talk about. So with that said, muffining out.
Beautiful as always. You know what? I find you should have told me about Marvel Rivals, and we should have made that the what do you call it?
Yes.
The thumbnail. I think that would have been an even better thumbnail.
True, but
you know
I
what?
was thinking about that. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But then on the other hand, I just played so very little, like before. Yeah, this afternoon when we came back from our bathing adventures. So what I thought is that I will come back talking about it again
next week Wednesday
when I've been playing even more.
Yes, next week's thumbnail. I'll start making it today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Hopefully, if I can get on the beta as well, then I'd even be better. If anyone out there listens to this and has a beta key for me, send it over. Your boy wants to jump in the game. With that, thank you very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. As always, you can find us at Raj at 40 Splash. That's number 40 with SPLASH. He streams on a Tuesday and a Sunday. Is that correct?
Correcto.
Correcto. You can find me at LP Garden. It's Garden to you pretty much everywhere else. That's LPGRDIN. You can find us at Simply Binge or at Simply Binge UK. And as always, the links they're on the screen. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see there. If you're not watching YouTube, you're listening to us on a podcast app or of your choosing. You could. I'd recommend you switch to YouTube Music for the time being. But you know what? Let me not tell you what to do with your listening. You know, if you're comfortable wherever you are, you stay comfortable there. But the fact of the matter is that you can actually watch us. I don't know how it works if it. To be honest, I should test that, shouldn't I? I should test how we play on other platforms. Anyway, that being said, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Hope you guys had a wonderful listening to us on That Beautiful Life podcast as always. And with that, we wouldn't like guys missing any of episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like to subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, simply.binge.com and elsewhere. And we're so confident gonna like it that we're giving it free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure, and it's a wrap. That's the episode. Love.
It is. Good.
Yeah, let's get out of here and go do out of here things. And when I say that, I mean like I do need to go to the grocery and do some shopping because I need
Yeah.
food. So
And before when does it close? Like the shop? I know it's like
2
9
hours. Actually,
Oh,
within
really?
an hour. Within an hour. I need to go.
Within an hour. Okay. Yeah, you better go there in time. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go and take a shower.
Mm,
Actually, yes. I mean, it's hot when I sit in here.
I'm seeing
I
your
didn't
tank
open
top.
the window.
I can see a tank top.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
you.
That's good. That's good. That saved me today. I can tell you, because I streamed yesterday evening and I had a T-shirt and it was a bit too hot in here at that point of time. I was like, yeah, I actually took a shower after that as well. But it's also due to the fact that we were out today and also, it was sweaty and we were taking a bath and yada yada. So I want to just get that off me. So
I kid you not though, for me generally I had no shirt on all day. I had to put this on before the podcast. I was like, I don't think I should be on the podcast without a shirt. I'm just telling you, when I came back into the house it was just shorts and no shirt, and I've been doing that for like the whole of summer so far. I'm a shirtless guy. Yeah. It's comfortable. I'm walking out the house with a shirt on sometimes,
Yeah,
that's just it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, let's get out of here. See you guys on the flip side. Peace. Hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon and day or whatever time it is you're listening to this podcast, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace. Later.